Edinburgh is a city steeped in stories, from fascinating folklore to ancient myth. Just take a walk around the city and you'll find an abundance of unicorns adorning the architecture. You'll not be short of ghost stories either. And in this quiet graveyard, you'll discover the inspiration for Lord Voldemort and Professor McGonagall. There's the monument to the heartwarming story of Greyfriars Bobby, who stood guard at his owner's grave for 14 years after his death, or the lone piper who haunts the Royal Mile. And our very own volcano has links to the dragons and the knights of King Arthur. Edinburgh, the story never ends. Come find the magic. Edinburgh is the UK's greenest city. Not that we want to make everyone green with envy. There's a space here for everyone, from high escapes to cosy glens, from secret gardens to old railway paths. There's beaches to comb and parks to play in, hills to climb and adventures to begin. Discover panoramic city views as you climb Edinburgh's extinct volcano. Edinburgh's a city for walkers, hikers, bikers, runners, thinkers, ramblers. Discover a new path today. Edinburgh, the story never ends. Edinburgh is a city shaped by water. You can follow the waters from the Pentland Hills right through the city to the Firth of Forth. There's beaches and bridges and boats to see. There's stories to find at the Roman settlement and the old bunker on Cramond Island. Just follow the water and you'll find a story. Edinburgh, story never ends.
A very good afternoon to you and welcome back. This is session 9, our final session, week day 3 finals here at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet. I'm Duncan McKinnell. I'll be taking you through the action, and I'm delighted to say that joining me this evening in the commentary box is Commonwealth Games athlete Tane Bruce. Good evening, Tane. It's lovely to have you here.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be back and looking forward to the action this evening.
So tell me, would you rather be up here commentating or would you rather be in the pool swimming?
I mean, I think considering I've done very little training in the last few months, definitely rather be up here.
Well, it's delighted to have you here, and we've got a busy program on this, which is, of course, the last session of this swim meet, which has drawn swimmers, top-level swimmers from all over Europe, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have them. Here's what's coming up for you tonight. We start off with the fastest heat of the women's 1500 freestyle. Then straight into our skins events. For the men, it's 50 breaststroke, and for the women, it's 50 butterfly. 100 freestyle goes for the men after that. Then 200 backstroke for both women and men. 200 breaststroke for the women, followed by 100 butterfly for the men. 100 freestyle for the women. 400 freestyle for the men, and finishing off with the 200 individual medley for the women. So the women have 6 events, the men have 5 tonight. Tane, what do you think about that lot? Is there anything that particularly you're looking forward to?
I think I'm definitely looking forward to the skins events. I think the skins is definitely something that the Edinburgh International has that other meets don't have. So looking forward to seeing how that pans out this evening. And then also a personal favourite for me would be the 100 freestyle, as that's one of the events that I used to contest. So looking forward to that. Looks like it's going to be quite a close race. Lots of big names in there this evening.
Yes, so it should be good because we've got 100 freestyle for both the men and the women this evening, so that will be fun. The skins, as we said, so it's the 50 fly, so you would have been in that one, I would have thought. Were you? Did you swim in it last year?
I think last year I contested, but unfortunately was knocked out after the first round.
Unfortunately or fortunately?
I guess it was potentially fortunately, because I also swam the 100 free, so I wasn't too tired out from the rounds of skins, but yeah, skins are always good fun.
Yes, so unfortunately we've Adam Peaty has decided to drop out of the 50 breaststroke skin, so it'll be Wrightshammer and Archie Goodburn, Edinburgh University swimmer, will be in the centre lanes for the men. And then for the women's skins, it is Louise Hansen and Laura Stevens. That should be tasty because both of them set meet records, in fact. Louise Hansen in the 100 fly and Laura Stevens, who's having a fantastic season in the 200 butterfly, set the meet record, beating Alice Thomas's record, so that's a pretty impressive sculpt to take. Louise Hansen taking her own record, so they'll be head-to-head. Do you think perhaps Hansen on the sprints compared with Stevens? It's maybe more of a distance fly swimmer?
I think potentially as well, since it's gone down to 3 rounds this year. I think Hansen will probably be able to hold on, but I'm sure Laura will give her a good run for her money.
Yeah, men's 100 freestyle will feature Tom Dean, who's looking in pretty decent shape here. He won the freestyle skins last night, using, I suppose, those 200 skills. As to, he didn't win the first round where they all go at it hell for leather than the sprinters first, but when it comes to the endurance of rounds 2 and 3, he came through. And you fancy him perhaps with Duncan Scott going in lane 2, so that will be a tasty one there. But I think we're just about ready to get started, and it's the fastest heat of the 1500 freestyle. So leading them out there is Livia Kingsland of Nova Centurion. Then her teammate Anya Priest will go in lane 2. Then it's Leah Chris from the University of Bath will go to lane 3. The fastest entry time is the Belgian Alcé Pissain. She goes to lane 4. Then Lucy Hunke, another Belgian representing Loughborough University this afternoon. Fleur Lewis, also from Loughborough, goes in lane 6. Then it's Sterling swimmer Michaela Glenister in lane 7. And the Netherlands swimmer is Meryl Schravendijk in lane 8. So the entry times here, 16:26. Up to 17:16. I can tell you that the fastest in the morning heats was Joanna Enkner, the Austrian swimmer. She did a 17:24. you'd expect these swimmers to be faster than that. So the lights start to come up as we get ourselves ready. You see them signalling as to where they want the lap cards at the other end of the pool. Just to make sure that they know exactly where they are. 1500, was that anything that you ever dabbled in?
I don't think I've ever done a 1500 long course. I definitely have done it a couple of times short course at East District age groups, back when you just swam every event, but long course, I don't think I actually ever ticked that one off.
Oh well, there's time, you could always go back and have a go. So away we go then. And it is Olivia Kingsland, Nova Centurion, as I said, Anya Priest, Nova Centurion, Leah Crisp, University of Bath, Alice Pisan, Belgium, with the fastest entry time, 16:26. Lucy Hunke, Fleur Lewis, Michaela Glenister, and Meryl Schravendijk. And a nice little arrowhead forming straight away with lane 4, Alice Pisan. Just going to be first to turn, 30.7 from Fleur Lewis. Fleur Lewis, Leah Chris, certainly some of the leading distance female swimmers in Britain at the moment. They both had good swims at British universities. So we'll see what they can do here. The winner at British universities was Fleur Lewis. She did a 16:28 in Sheffield, so we'll keep an eye on her. She goes in lane 6, but at the 100 it is the Belgian, 1:03.37 for Pisan. She was finalist in the European Championships last year. Belgian silver medalist behind the swimmer who is beside her, Lucy Hanke. So there will be a little bit of a bragging rights in the Belgian camp between those two. But Pisan is the one who's going out with intent here. Through the 150, 136.07. You can see the intermediate splits coming up there, 32.7. So half a second faster than Fleur Lewis in second place. And I would say the only one under 33 seconds. And it does certainly look like they're going to spread out quite a bit here, certainly on the outside lanes. They're dropping back right away, and we come up towards 200. So given that you've never swum this Tane, what advice would you be giving to the people who do?
I mean, I honestly have no idea where I would even start with pacing a 1500. I guess you don't want to go out too fast, but you also don't want to start too slow, that you give yourself too much work to do in the back half. And I guess it's about getting into a rhythm and sort of trying to hold that rhythm, hold those even splits throughout.
There must be quite a lot of preparation required to swimming a 1500. I think you have to manage your warm-up pretty carefully, because obviously you can't push yourself too hard in the warm-up, I guess, but you've got to be ready for a tough endurance race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine it's quite difficult to sort of replicate those pace 50s perhaps, or I'm not sure, maybe they do pace 100s for these longer races, because it never really feels how it feels when you're actually in that race under that fatigue. Even for me, when I was trying to do pacing for 200s, you always feel like it's so much easier when you're doing those pace 50s compared to how it actually feels in the race.
Those of you who visit YouTube may see, if you look at Scottish Swimming input into YouTube, there's a very nice interview with you that was recorded, I think, shortly after the Commonwealth Games, where, among other things, many other things, of your journey as a swimmer through age groups and various other topics. But one of the things was your day, if you like, preparing and going into a meet. It's quite interesting to hear about that. And, you know, when you're going into a big competition like the Commonwealth Games,
Yeah.
you know, how did you manage your day when you had, you know, quite late swims in the evening, possibly have to get up early the next morning? How does that work?
Yeah, I think the biggest sort of advice that we were given in the lead up to commies was to try and just keep doing the things that you normally do. So try and keep your own routines as much as possible. Obviously, it was a little bit different. The session times were later than traditional racing times, so it was later heats in the morning and later finals at night, so you almost had to sort of shift your timelines a little bit. But I think for me, I was just trying to keep everything as similar as possible. Obviously, being away, you're in the village, so you have the food that's available to you there, so it's not exactly the same as what it is when you're preparing it yourself. But
Although presumably the food is very much catered to an athlete's needs, you would hope anyway.
yeah, there was so much choice. There was like the main food halls, and then there was additional cafes and things like grab bag stations, lots of different places that you could go and you could get food, pretty much all kinds of food at all times of the day. So it's quite handy. You could go and pick up porridge pots, cereal bars, things that you could have in the afternoon, perhaps after a nap before you come back for the finals in the evening.
And how would that differ from, coming to a meet like this where you're probably not rested? It's a preparation meet for trials, which are coming in a month's time. So what would your preparation be for a meet like this compared with the big meet of the year?
Yeah, I guess as well, like another benefit at the games is that everything is done for you. So all your food is made for you. You don't have to think about going to the shops, going out cooking, things like that, and that sort of takes those potential stressors out of the equation. I guess the only downside perhaps is that it's not your home environment. So for me, the Edinburgh International was always a great meet because it was at my home pool. I trained here every day. I can just stay at home, so it's very familiar, and I know where everything is. Whereas going into the village, you sort of have to familiarise yourself with where things are, and I guess we were fortunate because we were in the village early enough to be able to have a look around and know where things were. But I guess if you weren't, that could be potential stress factors as well.
So just looking at the race, they're just going through 600 there, 6:32 for percent. She's going really nicely, very consistent pacing around that 33. So right around, I would think, around her entry time of 16:26. The meet record 16:21. Mireia Belmonte, the great Mireia Belmonte, of course, had many a battle in the 400 IM with Hannah Miley, but also terrific distance swimmer. So it'd be interesting to see if Percent can get anywhere close to that. Second place, Fleur Lewis is going pretty well. She's only 3 seconds back in lane 6. We talked about her performance 2 weeks ago at British Universities. Then behind her, Lucy Honke. So they're the leading 3, followed by lane 3, Leah Crisp, and lane 7, Michaela Glenister, trains in Stirling, so the only Scottish-based swimmer in the mix, although I don't think she's a Scot, but has been in Stirling for a good few years now. So 7:38.04, and that is just under a 66 again. So looking good, 32.87 there. You see 33.3 for Fleur, so another half second picked up. This next term will be the halfway mark, coming up to 7:50. You see the clock just clicking over into the 8s. So she's going to be around that 8:10 mark, I think, as she turns just over 8:11, 8:11.18. So if she could negative split, that would be a 16:22. Very close to the meet record, but that's probably a bit of an arse to negative split at this point in the season. But she's looking very strong here, very solid. The time she's entered on 16:26 was the time she did at the European Championship. So that was her, obviously that would have been her major meet of last season. And she would have been well rested and gone through some of the prep that you talked about there in terms of getting herself absolutely in the right place to swim this race. So if she can get anywhere close to this at this point in the season, I think that would be very encouraging for the Belgian team.
Yeah, definitely. I think it can sometimes be hard to come into these unrested meets, especially I guess for these longer events. Even if you're dropping a couple of tenths per 50, that does add up, and then at the end it probably seems like you're quite far from your best, but really it's just small margins.
But I guess when you're an experienced swimmer like all of these swimmers are, you'll know what's realistic, unrested versus rested, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the swimmers who are more mentally resilient that can cope better with that. And I think you just get more experience of that as you race more, as you get older.
So still going very nicely, sub 66s, pretty consistent. See there, 32.8 for that last 50. So this is very encouraging. Her lead now around about 5 seconds. Fleur Lewis is putting in a pretty good shift herself. She's entered 16:43, so some 17 seconds back on paper, although she did go down to a 16:28 at British University, so I guess she'll be looking to try and replicate that. And of course, with British trials coming up, World Championship year, of course, so all these swimmers will have designs on getting whatever their requirements are from their nation. We'll see. Okay, in lane 5, perhaps would have liked to have been closer to her Belgian teammate than she is. So she's currently sitting in 3rd place, which is a fair way back as they go through their 32.71 for that one, 10:55.14. That's the 1,000-meter mark. So again, under the 106, so that's getting very consistent indeed.
Yeah, she really seems to have found that rhythm and is really sticking to it. It'll be interesting to see if she tries to push it on and at what point she tries to step it up a gear.
16:21 could, she's not going to be a million miles away from there at all. 33.1 there, so just slightly slower there. We always have this discussion about whether going one way is slower than the other, whether there's a little bit of current in the pool. But, I think I certainly see that at Toll Cross. I'm not sure we see that so much here in Edinburgh. Busan, so she was a 33.1 going down to the turn end. Let's see what she is coming back. She's a little bit faster, 32.9, 12:01.24. So that was just over the 66 that time, so a little bit slower than she has been, so maybe starting to feel the pressure now. And I guess this is where it will start to bite, around this sort of 1,300 meters when she's not rested. And do you think she'll be hurting at this point?
Oh, absolutely. I know I definitely would be at this point. I think these events, they're so mentally challenging as well. I'm not sure, can these girls even see each other across the pool? It must feel like you're pretty much doing it on your own.
Yes, I mean, it gets to the point, doesn't it? Particularly when you know, as Busan must at the moment, that there's nobody close to her. It very much is her and her race strategy against a target of what she wanted to achieve and how she wanted to achieve it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you're out front on your own as well, it can be quite hard because you don't really have any gauge of where you are. It must be quite easy just to slip off and not really know.
Yeah, she's not doing that. That was a 32.9, so she's back under the 66s. So getting down to the sharp end now. Through 1,200, 300 to go. Yes, shot off her. You were obviously more of a sprint freestyler. So what's the difference in stroke from what you're seeing here from what the shorter distance freestylers would be doing?
I think definitely it's a lot more arm dominant for these distance girls. You see a lot of them almost dragging their legs, whereas when you're sprinting, you're obviously kicking hard and fast as you can. And I guess as well, in the sprint events, everyone is a lot closer together. So you can often get an idea of where you are based off other people. Obviously, you don't want to rely on that, but it can sometimes help.
200 to go 14:12. So as I said, that record's down 16:21. So she'd have to do, what's that, 2:09 for her previous, last 200 against the 2:12s that she's been at. So if she can muster a bit of a sprint, she's going to be close to it. I suspect she'll just miss it, but well, this is a mighty performance, and I think she's certainly going to be inside her 16:26 entry time, and that you would think is the prime target. If she can do that at this point in the season, then, well, very encouraging indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, even if she is trying to get that record and she doesn't, she might be disappointed, but ultimately, if it's the fastest you've ever done, you can't be too disappointed.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you're not going to retire and say, I had the Edinburgh International record, but you'd much rather say I'm an Olympian or
Absolutely.
I was a European finalist, as she is. 18:50 then. So that was about a 65 and a half. So it's going to be a very impressive. If she does a 65, that would be a 16:23-ish. So this is really good stuff. She's had to do it on her own. You still have Fleur Lewis in shot, though, in lane 6, so she's having a really good race as well. She's about 15 metres back on Pusena's, let's say, turning for the final time of 15:50 there, getting down to 32.4, so she did pick up the pace a bit in that penultimate length. Now let's see what she can do. Would you expect her to go to the legs here?
Yeah, I think so. She really looks like she's still got something left in the tank, so
The stroke rate's certainly up.
Yeah, she's not going to be far off, I don't think.
So really fine performance here to get us going on a Sunday afternoon. So here she comes. What a swim. 16:22.18 in the end, less than half a second away from that record, the great Mireia Belmonte. So she is right up there with them. That was a remarkable performance. Fleur Lewis coming in 16:32.29. That is 11 seconds inside her entry time and very close to the time she did at British University's 16:28. There we get the shots, and by hanging on for dear life, I think probably there. Third in is Lucy Honke in lane 5, and she comes in with a time of 16:43.68, and in fourth place Leah Chris 16:46. So some pretty handy times there as our final swimmers come in. See there, lanes 1 and 2 coming in. That is Olivia Kingsland in lane 1 on her last few meters. So she was entered 17:13, not quite at that pace, 17:29 for her. Anja Priest just behind her, and then it will be the Dutch swimmer, Merel Schravendijk, completing this race. She'll be a bit off her time, maybe a wee bit disappointed with that. But she can figure out what the learnings are. Sometimes you maybe get your best learnings when you are disappointed with how you've swum.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes when you swim well, you're so happy that you don't really think about what you could still do better, whereas with the swims you're disappointed in, you're definitely more likely to go and see what you could do next time.
So we go to our sprints now, and first up we've got junior final for the men's 50 breaststroke. There's your lineup on the screen. So the lineup is David Smith of Glenrothes in 1, Robson Miles, City of Glasgow in 2, Joshua Sacri of City of Peterborough in 3, Connor Mitchell of Warrender in 4, Yannick Weiland of the Netherlands in 5, Royas Kringelis of City of Glasgow in 6, Micah van Blurk of Warrender in 7, Jack Mitchell from the University of Aberdeen in lane 8, 30.9 up to 32.1, the times set in the heats. Also a mixture of swimmers from the morning and the afternoon heats. A lot of juniors getting into this junior final from the afternoon heats. The morning very much dominated by senior swimmers. Just a few of the fastest juniors getting swims in the morning. in this very high quality meet. So just 1 length of the pool, 50 breaststroke. So the sprint on breaststroke, I guess it's about real efficient stroking. It'll be very easy just to get your rhythm wrong.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's about getting that balance between getting that stroke rate up, but making sure that you're not slipping the water. Very much a power-based stroke, breaststroke.
So looking good in lane 4 is the Warrender swimmer. Another one who will be training in this pool. Is he going to get the touch? No, it's Joshua Zachary just edging it there. 30.79 takes it by 200ths of a second. Mitchell second, and then another 500ths back to Micah Van Vleut in third. So 2 Warrender swimmers in the top 3 there, but it was Joshua Zachary, City of Peterborough, taking the win. And we go straight now into the B final. There was the lineup: Eugene Cook of Ireland in 1, Alex Mayer, Stirling University in 2, Marcos Iacovidis, the Cypriot swimmer from University of Bath in 3, Sam Neill of Birmingham University in 4, Brian Long, Chelsea and Westminster in 5, Ross Young of Edinburgh University in 6, Luca Janssen of the Netherlands in 7, and Youssef Betoot of City of Glasgow in lane 8. 28s and 29s, the times done in the heats in this one. Sam Neill 28.83 was just 400ths faster than Brian Long in the centre lanes. So let's see how they do and whether there'll be others challenging them, which I'm sure there will be in such a short race as this. The white cap there is Sam Neill, Birmingham University swimmer. In the blue cap, that is Brian Long. So those two look to have the advantage in the centre lanes as they come down the pool. Going well as well, Marcos Iacovidis in lane 3, and it is really tight as they come in, all about finishing there, and it was Sam Neill just got it 28.82. So I guess breaststroke, is that more difficult to time your finish on a breaststroke compared with freestyle or butterfly?
I would say it's probably similar to butterfly. I definitely had many races where didn't do a very good finish on butterfly. I guess it's to get that double hand touch, whereas on freestyle you can sort of just throw a little short arm if you've misjudged it.
So talking about butterfly, we are now to the junior final 4, the women's 50 butterfly, the lineup there. Annabelle Chan of Millfield in 1, Stella McCarty of City of Glasgow in 2, Nicole Dupre of Millfield in 3, Ailey Robertson of South Ayrshire in 4, Matilda Merler of Hervedstatens in 5, Becky Watson of Barrow Stockton in 6, Madison Cool, the youngest in the field, from Bucky in lane 7, and Ariana Stokes from Morpeth in lane 8. 28s to 29s, the times here. Good start, looked like in lane 4 from Ailey Robertson in the blue cap, part of the Robertson dynasty that came out of South Ayrshire. 2 of them came to Edinburgh and were teammates of yours, and maybe Ailey will do the same at some point, but she's certainly going to take this one. Nice fly swim from her, 28.11. So good stuff from her, more than a quarter of a second inside her time from the heats. Nicole Dupre taking second, Betty Watson in third.
Yeah, nice to see these girls going faster than what they've done either. I'm not sure if they were in the morning heats or this afternoon, but it's always nice to see that progression from the heat to the final.
Yep, B final up next. There you have the swimmers, Clementine Lovell Loughborough in 1, Jenna van Kooten, Netherlands in 2, her teammate Kira Toussaint in 3, Kira Schlossen of Edinburgh University in 4, Harriet Rogers from Loughborough University in 5, another Dutch swimmer, Elise Tannis, goes in 6, Yasmin Perry at University of Aberdeen in 7, and Georgina Pryor for Deventio goes in lane 8. Now this one could be really, really close. There's only 4/10 between the field, and 3 swimmers on 27.7s and another 3 on 27.8. So pick a winner here, Tane.
I know. I mean, I have to back Kira. She's my old teammate, and she's been on really great form, so I'd love to see her get the touch here.
Yes, she's certainly been good this weekend, but it's lane 3,
Kira
Kira Toussaint. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Very good start.
Harriet Rogers picking it up nicely in the black cap in lane 5 as well. So it looks like it's those two. Let's see who's going to get the touch. In fact, no swimmer in lane 8, so just the 7 involved here. But it's Harriet Rogers in the end who gets it after that brilliant start from Toussaint. Harriet Rogers was not daunted by that. Tie for third, so Kira gets 27.61 in third place. She was a tenth faster than she was this morning. So how would she feel about that?
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be happy with that. She's had a really great meet, starting with the 200 on Friday, 100 yesterday, and good to round off the triple with a nice 50.
So we are now to the first of our skins events. So all 8 swimmers will go out and we'll get them coming out together. The breaststrokers for the men and the butterfly swimmers for the women. So coming out then in the lane 1, it would be Iva Kroes from the Netherlands in the men's breaststroke and Kiana McInnes of Stirling University in the women's race. In lane 2, James Wilby will come out for the men from Loughborough University, and Ellen Walsh, who's had a superb meet from Ireland in lane 2 for the women's 50 fly. Dara Green, another Irish swimmer, goes in lane 3 for the men, and for the women it's Roos van Otterdijk from Belgium into lane 3. Then the fastest siege, Bernard Reithammer going for Ober Oster, the Austrian swimmer in lane 4, and Louise Hansen, who broke that meet record in the 100 fly yesterday, goes in lane 4 for the women. Archie Goodburn, Edinburgh University, is second fastest, qualify for the men's 50 breast, and Laura Stevens, who broke that meet record in the 200 butterfly in lane 5 for the women. Then we have Greg Butler of Loughborough University going into lane 6 for the men, and Lily Rose Berthelot of the Auvergne of France in lane 6 for the women. Then Bram Zwetsloot for the Netherlands will go to lane 7, and Lucy Grieve, who put in a terrific 100 fly yesterday, goes in lane 7 for the women, and then Rory Dixon for Stirling University and Jessica Calderbank for City of Manchester complete the field in lane 8. So the way this works, if you haven't been with us the last 2 days, we've got 8 swimmers will go flat out in the first one. This is the one that has the regulation start. 4 of them will get eliminated, 4 will go through to round 2. And round 2, we will go from 4 to 2, and then it will be a head-to-head to decide who is the skins winner. So they will interleave, breaststroke men go first, and then it'll be the butterfly women. So away we go. As I said, no Adam Peaty, did swim the heats this morning, but has pulled out of this. But Reithammer has looked good all the way through. Keep your eyes on Wilby. He was the skins winner last year, so he's going in lane 2. So he'll be looking to survive this first round and then use his endurance with his 200 breaststroke skills to dominate in the latter rounds when the sprinters start to tire. But it does look like it's going to be Reithammer taking this first round, 27.57 for him. So he'll go through, Goodburn goes through, Wilby goes through, Butler goes through. We say goodbye to Dara Green, Bram Zwetsloot, Rory Dixon and Ivo Kroes. So I guess that probably is about what you would have expected in terms of who qualifies, and I think probably no surprise that it was the Dutchman who goes, or rather the Austrian I should say, that was the fastest there.
Yeah, shame Dara Green just missing out by 100th of a second. So brutal.
So that'll be the women up next. So again, they'll get the regulation start. So a reminder, McInnes, Walsh, Van Otterdijk, Hansen, Stevens, Berthelot, Grieve and Calderbank from the bottom of your screen up to the top. And you think Louise Hansen would be the fancied one here. 26.42 was her time in the heats. Great Jeanette Otterson has the meet record, 26.15. Wonder whether Louise can get anywhere close to the Danish swimmer's record. She's certainly going to take this first round. She did win the butterfly skins last year, and a pretty emphatic win, 25.94. That is a new meet record. That is superb there. 25.94. That is fast.
Yeah, nailed that finish. Very impressive to see a sub-26 swim at this point in the year.
Van Otterdijk goes through, Stevens goes through, and Bartholow goes through. It'll be interesting in the later rounds whether Laura Stevens' endurance starts to come through. We saw that in the breaststroke with Cara Hanlon versus Imogen Clark yesterday.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see maybe the more 200-based swimmers come through at the end, and the sprinters, the lactate is just through the roof.
So Louise Hansen, new meet record there. They won't get regulation starts here. They'll just get a 10-second warning on the whistle, and then the starting signal will go. So can't claim records in these rounds, but they put all their speed efforts really into that first round. So here are the four: Wilby, Wrightshammer, Goodburn and Butler. So 4 will become 2. Good start from Wrightshammer, so he's taking this very seriously, as is James Wilby. And in lane 5, Archie Goodburn with the local interest. Certainly Wrightshammer is looking good for this one. Who's going to go in with him? Is it going to be Wilby? Is it going to be Goodburn? I don't think it's going to be Greg Butler. But I think it's going to be Wilby, who will be up head-to-head with Wrightshammer. So they will be the two that make it through into the final twosome. And I guess that's probably what you'd expect with James Wilby's skills at 100 and 200 starting to show there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be really interesting to see how this last round goes when they're moved beside each other as well.
Yep, so they will go into the centre lanes for the last 2 rounds. Oh, a bit of puffing there from James. But I think he knows how to do this. So 4 then for the women. Van Otterdijk, Hansen, Stevens, Bartholow. So Hansen and Stevens, you fancy maybe be the two that would progress through into the last 2, but you never know. And sometimes they decide, right, well, I've had enough. I've did what I wanted in the first 50, and I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how people play it. I guess maybe since it's the last day, people are not so precious about saving themselves for other races.
In fact, it's certainly looking at the moment like it's Van Otterdijk and Hansen who are going to decide this. So I got that wrong as far as Laura Stevens is concerned. I thought her endurance might come to the fore here, but no, it's going to be Hansen and Van Otterdijk. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be a battle between Sweden and the Netherlands to decide, or Belgium rather. Sorry, Roos. I hope that wasn't too bad an insult. Louise Hansen, Loughborough-based Swede, against the Belgian Roos van Otterdijk will decide the butterfly skins. You must have done these butterfly skins in the past here at Edinburgh International.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not actually sure if I ever made it through the rounds. I've done freestyle and made it through a little bit further. 50 fly I used to find quite challenging, to be honest. Never really had that speed as much. More 100 fly swimmer for sure.
Of course, in your day it was tough because we went 8-6, 4-3-2, 5 rounds. Now only 3 rounds, so we've made it easy for these swimmers.
Yeah, I've also done the medley skins before, which is quite fun, where it's a different stroke each round.
So here we go, head to head. Wilby in 4 now, and Wrightshammer has moved across to lane 5. So it has been Wrightshammer leading all the way. Quickly into his stroke was Wilby in lane 4. Let's see who's going to get this one. Does look like Wrightshammer has got the advantage here. James Wilby won the skins last year, but it looks like it is going to be lane 5 taking this one. And it is Wrightshammer 28.04. It's, of course, unofficial times because you don't get the regulation start, but good sportsmanship there. And it's a good test, I suppose, of their endurance and ability to Yeah, just to do it again and again, repetition when
Yeah,
when you're
definitely.
tired.
Yeah, I think I saw Imogen Clark referring to it as a tolerance set almost. And I guess at this time of the season, it is almost just a training exercise.
So last of our skins action for this year, and it will be Roos van Otterdijk and Louise Hansen. So they all move across one. So van Otterdijk will go in 4 in this one, and Hansen into lane 5. So Louise Hansen, that new meet record in round 1, as she now finish it off. Van Otterdijk looked pretty strong in the second round, and well, she is pushing hard. This is going to be tight, I think. They're both going at it pretty hard as you see them coming down. Hard to tell from that shot who is winning, and it's hard to tell even if you look across the pool to see who is winning. This is going to go all the distance here. Maybe it's lane 4, Van Otterdijk, who's just got the advantage. So he takes it. Roos van Otterdijk takes it for Belgium. So we have an Austria victory in the men's 50 breaststroke. We have a Belgium victory in the women's butterfly.
Yeah, really impressive that. Young Belgian swimmer in on a 27.2 this morning, so she's really moved it on quite significantly this evening.
Yeah, just 18 years old, so
yeah,
watch out for her when we get to major competitions in the next few years. It might be a name to keep in your head. Roos van Otterdijk. Lovely stuff. So we're done with skins. It was good. We enjoyed them. And now it's 100 freestyle time. So junior up first. And the lineup in this junior final for the men's 100 freestyle. Daniel Dravchov of Israel goes in lane 1. Liam Dawson of Daventio in 2. George Snow of Millfield in 3. Evan Bailey of Limerick National Centre in 4. Nia Hay of Israel in 5. Jacob Whibley of Repton in 6. Evan Davison, Perth City in 7. And Zach Slater, East Lothian in lane 8. So Evan Bailey, the fastest qualifier for this junior final, coached by a former coach of yours, I think, John Chiranek.
Indeed, indeed. It's great to see John back, visiting Edinburgh again.
Yeah, with bringing his Limerick teams and performance coach for Swim Ireland based in Limerick. And he seems to have really bringing on some great swimmers there. Speaking to him earlier, and he's pretty pleased, I think, with his juniors this weekend who have performed very well. So their entry times, or heat times I should say, 52.0 up to 53.8. Evan Bailey, 52.0, the fastest going in. Just checking the starting apparatus. And we go back to what you call the start ends for everything other than the 50s. And they're happy with that, so we get ready to go. Junior record is a very fast 49.5. Jacob Whittle set that.
Almost doesn't sound like it should be a junior record, it's so fast.
Yeah, he's still only 19, Jacob, swimming. We'll see him in the open final this time. So going nicely, good start in lane 2 from the Daventio swimmer. Liam Dawson also starting well in 6. Jacob Whibley of Repton, who has sent a strong team of juniors here. So it's going to be these two turning just about together at the halfway mark. 24.73 for Liam, 24.81 for Jacob. Bailey third, just ahead of Hay and Snow. So coming out of the 5 swimmers with still lanes 2 and 6 leading the way. It's tight to call this one now as we close up, and all very, very close, possibly lane 6. Jacob Whibley coming through. I think it is going to be Whibley taking the win, and he does 51.70. Bailey coming through to snatch second by 100th from Liam Dawson in 3rd place. Really, really tight there. Interesting there to see some of them coming through much stronger in the second half, and others really pushing out hard in the first half.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the different tactics and how people attack the race, I guess. Especially in season swims, it's good to try different things to try and figure out that balance and what's best for you.
Yeah, I never really think of 100 freestyle as a tactical race. You think of it just go at it as hard as you can, but I'm sure you know better than me on that. Anyway, there's the lineup for the B team. Thomas Carswell, Edinburgh University, the Welshman. He has Edinburgh University teammates go alongside him. Bruno Kempster in 2, David Cumberledge in 3. Then we have Joe Litchfield, Loughborough University in 4. The Spaniard Cesar Castro Val in lane 5. Evan Jones of Stirling University in 6. Oliver Sogard Anderson of Hoverstatons in 7. And Scott Gibson, Edinburgh University in lane 8. Interesting to see Scott Gibson doing 100 freestyle.
I know,
what we normally see for him.
I just did a double take. I had to have a look at the lineup to make sure it was him.
Can you verify that it is definitely Scott? It's not an imposter.
No, it's good to see Scott dabbling in some freestyle. He's put in some good splits for the relay teams in the past. It's good to see him having a go at it individually as well.
Of course, mainly known as a backstroker, represented Scotland in the Commonwealth Games on backstroke. To play 50, I guess, is forte. So the heat times here 50.6 up to 51.6. So again, this is going to be a really close one. Lanes 3 and 4, Cumberledge and Litchfield. David Cumberledge, experienced Englishman, has been in Edinburgh for a good few years now, and he turns first, 24.03, ahead of Thomas Carswell, the Welshman based in Edinburgh, and Bruno Kempster. So Edinburgh University having a good time of it at the moment, occupying
definitely
the top 3 places.
Yes. It's great to see David back in the water, after a shoulder injury.
Watch out for Evan Jones, though, in lane 6. His Stirling University swimmer. Is he going to just move past the Edinburgh guys? I think he is. It's going to be an Evan Jones win in 50.31. Really lightning fast on that second 50. And a swimmer who has, another member of the Commonwealth Games team, a really young, probably the youngest member of the Scottish team, I think, with the exception perhaps of, I don't know whether any of the para swimmers were younger.
Yeah, so I think Sam Downey was officially the youngest, and then Holly McGill on the girls' side. But no, Evan had a great Commonwealth Games, really one of the key players for those relays.
Yeah, medalist in the relays. So, and that was a good win from him in the B final. So we're ready now to go with our open final. And they're just about to come out, and coming out in lane 1 will be the Spaniard Francisco Aravala Rubio. And next to him in lane 2, it's the one and only Duncan Scott of the University of Stirling. In lane 3, Loughborough University, Jacob Whittle, we were talking about earlier, holds the junior record. Tom Dean of Bath University in lane 4, the winner in the 200 freestyle, and Skins winner in the 50. Sean Nievold of the Netherlands in lane 5. Thomas Piron in lane 6 for Ligue Auvergne in France. Lane 7, Alex Cahoon of Loughborough University in lane 7, the runner-up in the 50 freestyle skins. And in lane 8 from City of Manchester Aquatics, Jamie Ingram. So this is going to be interesting. Tom Dean was the fastest, 49.77. Duncan Scott not in the centre lane, so we'll see what he can do here. Certainly looked good in the 200 IM in Friday evening. He swam the heats in the 400 IM and then withdrew from the final. So we'll see how he's going here. I always feel Duncan maybe sort of, one for the big events. And, well, will his heart be in this one? We'll find out in the next minute.
We will. Yeah, it's great depth in this final, so always good to be racing with some of the best.
Duncan does hold the meet record, 48.49. I wonder whether Tom Dean can get close to that. He'd have to take about a 1.3 off his heat swim to get to that sort of time. You'd have to fancy him probably as the favourite here.
Yeah, he's been on great form this week, so I think I would be surprised if he didn't continue that through this evening.
He's off to a good start. Swimmers up at the top of your screen also going well. Cahoon in 7 in particular. And I think it is going to be Tom Dean turning first. Yes, it is, 23.7. So that is about a tenth faster than he was in the morning heat. Now pushing on in lane 3, Jacob Whittle, who's always going to be a threat, a very strong 100 freestyler. Lane 2 is Duncan Scott. He is starting to make a bit of a move, but it's Dean and Whittle in lanes 4 and 3, and it's going to be Tom Dean bringing this one in. Let's check the time, 49.10. So that is about 6/10 faster than he was in the heat. So he takes the win. Second, Jacob Whittle, and it was Sean Nievold taking third, just touching out Duncan Scott there. There's this confirmation of that. 50, he'll be able to remember his time easily enough. Sean Nievold, 50 seconds exactly. But it's Dean, 49.10, takes another gold for him.
50.0 must be so frustrating, so close to that 49.
Yes, just looking at Nievold, he has done sub 50 before, so it's not as though he's still just scudding to have never got down through that mark.
Yeah, not so bad.
So now we move to women's 200 backstroke. And as per usual, we go to the junior final first. And there's your lineup. Catherine Renfrew of Perth City in lane 1. Kenna Kurtzer in the red of Warrender in lane 2. Maital Flickstein of Israel in 3. Falcotin Hovedstatens in 4. Holly Marshall of Repton in 5. Susie McNair of Stirling in 6. Heidi Wren of City of Glasgow in 7. And Charlotte Williams goes for Hatfield in lane 8. Times here 2:20 to 2:25. Dabble much with 200 backstroke? I can't remember commentating on you in 200 backstroke.
Probably not since Snags days. I actually got DQ'd in the 200 backstroke for going past 15 once, so that was a bit of a stinger. The whole way, I think I'd medalled as well, which was unexpected because never really thought of myself as much of a backstroker.
So medalled at national age groups?
Yeah, I think it was when I was 15, perhaps.
Very good.
So many years ago now. 2014 or something, I think.
2014, that was a famous year in swimming in Scotland. Commonwealth Games year, of course. 32.78, then Falcotin by half a second at the 50. So she is setting the early pace here. In the centre lane with her, Holly Marshall of Repton. So Repton just saw a good performance from them in the junior final of the men's 100 freestyle. See if they can go back-to-back junior final winners. Holly Marshall, the 17-year-old for them, just currently in second place at the halfway mark, just tucked in behind Falcotin, only 3/10 between them, and she's pacing there slightly faster, as was Maital Flickstein, a 35.1 for her. Really useful for the commentators having these intermediate splits, just gives you what you perhaps you think you're seeing in the water. It just gives you proof that somebody's catching someone or somebody's moving away. So well, we really like that, or I do anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Always interesting to see if the swimmers sneak a peek at the scoreboard off the turns as well.
Is that something you're encouraged to do? I would have thought so.
I don't think so, but maybe something that I used to do.
So this is a tight one then. 3 swimmers coming in. Falcotin in lane 4 on either side of her. Holly Marshall in 5 and Maital Flickstein in lane 3. Let's see who's got the pace at the end of this. Are we going to see another Repton victory in lane 5? Holly Marshall, she's certainly in the mix and I think has the edge here. She is about a metre up now as they come into the finish. So it is going to be another Repton victory. Well done to Repton School taking the win there. 2:19.84 for Holly. A second and a half faster than she was in the heats. So very well done. Let's just see if I can see what she was entered in. She was entered 2:16, so not quite at that pace, but well, you could only win against the swimmers against you. So she's done exactly that. B final now, and a green for Warrender in lane 1. Jemima Hall and Jasmine Eiley, both from Bath, in lanes 2 and 3. Joanna Saka of Edinburgh University in 4. Lucy Hitchin goes in lane 5 for Repton. So can we see another Repton victory, I wonder? Olivia Butler, Edinburgh University in 6. Natasha Whittle of Loughborough University in 7. And Lauren Bradley Holt in lane 8 for Stirling University. Joanna Saka of Edinburgh University, a Greek swimmer based in Edinburgh for the last 2 years, maybe?
A year and a half now, yeah. She joined at the start of last season. She's studying a master's, I think it's in clinical psychology, I want to say, or something of that
Something
kind.
that means she's very bright anyway. So let's see what she can do here. She is the oldest swimmer in this B final, 24-year-old this year, 2:17.59. Also the fastest swimmer in this B final, and she's certainly off to a good start there. Already about a metre up on Jasmine Eiley, one of the two from University of Bath in lane 3. Lane 7, Natasha Whittle starting pretty well, but it is Saka who is going to lead them through the 50 in 31:45. As you'd expect, it's a fair bit faster than the junior final, 1.3 seconds or so. Good turn there from her as well, just built that lead a bit more from Eiley in second place, and then it's pretty close for third.
Yeah, I imagine Jo's a bit disappointed to not have made the open final, so I'm sure she'll be trying to get the win in this B final tonight.
So you'd rather have an outside lane in the open final than the centre lane in the B final?
I think it depends on your mentality. Some people thrive being out ahead, whereas some people thrive if they're almost being dragged along by people faster than them. So I guess pros and cons of both, it just depends.
Plus, I guess when you are in the major competitions, you know, there isn't a B final, you know, you've got a semi-final possibly and then a final, and you know, if you're ninth in the semi-finals, that's it, you're ninth, you're not in the final.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, Saka is taking full advantage of this, 1:39.86, so pacing 34.4, and looking good for this one, really dominant right from the push off the wall. It does look like Eiley is set for second place, and lane 5 Lucy Hitchin for third place, but no doubt whatsoever Joanna Saka, and 2:17.59 was her time in the heats. Let's see what she can do in this final. Came into the meet 2:14.30. She's inside that 2:14.26. So I don't know whether that 2:14.30 represented a lifetime best or just the last 12 months best. But anyway, there, just looking inside it. So you'd think she'd be pretty happy with that swim.
Yeah, definitely. Considerable drop as well from this morning. So I'm sure she'll be happy enough with that, especially on day 3 of the meet.
Yeah. So to our open final now. We wait for the swimmers to make their appearance onto the deck. It's another Edinburgh University swimmer that we'll be seeing first, and that is Ellis Shields. Just wait. Oh, there she is. Just popping her nose out, and away she goes to lane 1. Sophie Shaw of City of Manchester in lane 2. Honey Osrin for Loughborough University in lane 3. She's looking serious. Lane 4, Freya Colbert is having a fantastic meet. She's looking more relaxed. Lottie Hosper of the Netherlands in lane 5. Manon Domignon from Ligue Verne in lane 6. Carla Meyaru of Villefranche in France in lane 7. And Ingeborg Leuning of OI Swimming in Norway goes to lane 8. So a pretty international field here, certainly in lanes 5 to 8. 1 from the Netherlands, 2 from France, 1 from Norway, up against the 4 Brits in lanes 1 to 4. Local interest with Ellis Shields at University, but The two Loughborough swimmers will be looking to do well here. In particular, possibly the fastest qualifier, Freya Colbert, who's showing her versatility here going in the backstroke. Of course, we know her as a great individual medley swimmer. She was brilliant in the 400 freestyle and the 800 freestyle in the first 2 days of competition. Now trying her hand at backstroke. No Katie Shannon you might have expected to see in this one, and no Kylie Mass, who swam in the 50 and the 100. But that opens the door for these swimmers. And let's see if Freya Colbert can pick up another win here. 2:13.65 for her in the heat. Hosper was right there with her though. The Dutch swimmer in lane 5, 2:13.99 earlier.
Yeah, seems pretty level to start with anyway.
Yeah, lane 3 also off to a good start, Honey Osrin. Should be a contender. She was 3rd here last year. Lane 8 as well. Ingeborg Leuning up there, so just 1,500 between those first 4, with Honey Osrin just getting the touch, 31.37. Interestingly, that is only 800ths faster than Joanna Saka's 50 split. So it shows how fast she went out. We'll see whether they do pull away from Saka's splits as this race progresses. So that 2:14, in fact, only 2 swimmers were faster in the heats than Joanna Saka's final time there.
Yeah, I would have got her one of the middle lanes if she'd done that this morning.
So Colbert, Osrin, both sub 105, followed by Hosper and Shaw and Leuning, all in the 105s, and it is starting to open up a bit now with Freya Colbert certainly looking good now to add to her tally of strong performances. She came into the meet on a 2:16, so took that down to a 2:13, and I think she's going to be faster than that again here if she keeps this going. 1:38.02, on a 33.5 there.
Yeah, Honey Osrin looks like she's picked up the rate a little bit. I think she's trying to hunt her down.
Yeah, I'm not sure she's going to be able to though, but she's giving it a good go in lane 3, but Colbert looks pretty comfortable to me as they go 10 meters to go. She's still up by the best part of her body length, so it is going to be another win for Freya Colbert, continuing an exceptional weekend's performances. 2:11.55, so another 2 seconds knocked off her time. So 200 backstroke is becoming an event, I think, for Freya Colbert.
Yeah, very impressive. She looks almost shocked.
I was going to say she's not giving anything away, and then she saw the camera and, oh, thanks for the little wave, Freya. And brilliant stuff. So in the end, about half a second up on Honey Osrin. Good performance from her as well. 2:12.13, and that is right on her entry time. In fact, was the time she did season's best last year at this event, 2:12.12, and a 2:12.13 tonight. So that was good as well. And hopefully this year she can build from that in next month's British Championships. So we're done with the women, and we move to the men. And once again, we go to the juniors. And first up is Ben Twynham in lane 1 for Deventio. Mads Möller, Hervid Statens in lane 2. George Whittle of Deventio in 3. Connor Cherrington of Millfield in 4. Daniel Rabinovich of Israel in 5. Adam Graham of Millfield in 6. Mike Murder of Israel in 7. And Robert Burgess on City of Glasgow in lane 8. So the times here, 2:08 the fastest, Connor Cherrington to 2:10s in the outside lanes. And Cherrington comes into this meeting at 2:03, so expect him to take something off the 2:08 that he did earlier. He's in the green cap of Millfield in lane 4. The other 7 swimmers pretty much in a line, but it is Charrington who's maybe a metre ahead of the line. Through in 29.24. Leads by nearly half a second. Adam Graham second, Mads Muller in third. Pushing on in lane 2 is Mads Muller. Dane from Hovedstatens, who've been a team that have come last 2 or 3 years to Edinburgh. Nice to have them along with other teams from Denmark. At the halfway mark, Charrington 1:01.56. So that was just a bit over a 32 there, 32.32. So at the moment we'd be looking, what, 2:05, 2:06 sort of territory. Hard to see. Well, I could still catch him. He's body length up. Lane 6, Adam Graham of Millfield. So 2 Millfield swimmers at the moment, first and second. Adam Graham is catching in lane 6. When you have somebody coming at you, are you aware of it? And particularly if they're not in your next lane, do you know that they're there?
I don't think so. Like, especially on backstroke, because on freestyle you can have a bit of a better gauge because you're breathing to the side, aren't you? But on backstroke, I feel like you don't really have any idea. The race is all over the place in this one.
Yep, they are working very hard, the 2 of them, and it's now stroke for stroke, and it looks like it might be Graham coming through to take this one in the white cap. What a second half from him. You see that individual split there, 31.7 against Charrington's 32.8, and that is speed. Earns Adam Graham the win in 2:06.54. Good stuff there. Charrington makes it Millfield 1-2 with Rabinovic in third place. Yeah, you have to feel that must be a bit gutting, you know, when you feel perhaps that, you know, you're comfortably in the lead, you've got them where you want them, you're nearly a body length, and somebody comes roaring past you.
I know, it's so frustrating. So frustrating, but yeah, good to see some rivalry between the teammates. I'm sure they're training partners together.
Yeah, I think there'll probably be words after that. So the B final next up, you see them lined up there, and we've got Jamie Ferguson closest to the camera there for University of Aberdeen. 2 Dutchmen beside him, Thomas Jensen in 2 and Niels Dijkshoom in 3. Manuel Matos Bacarito in lane 4 for Spain. Conor Ferguson of Loughborough in 5. Inbar Danziger of Israel in 6. Jordan McPhail at Edinburgh University in 7. And Ben Harrison, Loughborough University in lane 8. 2:02 the fastest time here, up to 2:06. Bacarito was the fastest. Martos Bacarito, 23-year-old Spaniard, entered into the meet in 2:01, so he wasn't too far away from that in the East, 2:02. And he's certainly up there in lane 4. Conor Ferguson from Loughborough. He's a very strong backstroke. In fact, he holds the junior record here, set back in the day when he was a junior. He's now a 24-year-old, so that was a few years ago. He is in lane 5, right beside Manuel Martos Bacarito. 28.02 and 28.38, the Israeli Danziger in the 3rd.
Yeah, it's great to see so much international representation back at this meet. I think last year, still a little bit COVID times, not as many internationals came through, so it's good to see.
Yes, you forget what it was like, really. I mean, we were still negotiating restrictions last year, and 2022, the beginning of 2022, and so it's great to be clear of all that now. Although we still are seeing, particularly from the Europeans, a number of people wearing masks around the venue, so it does remind us that it's still there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is Martos Bacarito in lane 4. We saw lane 4 just let it go in, well, that's the wrong way of putting it, have somebody go past him in the final 50. But Manuel will not want that to happen here, so he goes into the final 50, 131.20, up by 8/10. Well, it's getting close again. The white cap in lane 2 is Thomas Janssen from the Netherlands. Beside him, his teammate Niels Dijkshoorn. And they are both up with the Spaniard. Also going well in lane 6 is the Israeli Inbar Danziger. I think we're down to 3 lanes, 3 and 4, in fact, in particular. And, well, once again, the swimmer in lane 4 with the decent lead at the 150 has to settle for second. As Dijkshoorn this time it is, who goes past him 2:03.21. So that was about 6/10 faster than he was earlier today. So the lights go down for our open final. Somebody just having a wee sneaky look out there. I think that might be Charlie Brown, who's waiting patiently to be first out. But he's got to wait till he gets his cue. No sneaking. I think he's just itching to get out, isn't he? When you are being introduced out like that, you just want to get out there and on with it.
Get all your stuff off, just not be worried about not being ready on time.
So here he comes now. Charlie Brown, Loughborough University, is allowed to make his way out. One of those Limerick youngsters we were talking about, John Short, goes into lane 2, just 16 into the open final, up against Luke Greenback. Well, what an experience that will be for him.
That's great.
World bronze medalist, Olympic bronze medalist David Gerchik goes in lane 4 for Israel, fastest qualifier. And then he's got the Commonwealth champion Brodie Williams in lane 5 from Bath University. Elliot Clogg of Loughborough University in lane 6. Oh, he's got his race face on. Lane 7, Oliver Morgan of Birmingham University. The swimmer who's made huge progress in the last year. And Cameron Brooker for University of Bath in lane 8. This could be a really good race. I think there are a lot of stars in this race.
Yeah, and all over the pool as well. Yeah, the race could come from anywhere. Very exciting. And a lot of these boys have been on really good form this week too, so...
Luke Greenback holds the meet record, 158.65. So we'll see whether he can go anywhere close to that. David Gerchik just over the 2 minutes, and he's 2:00.39. Quite a lot of these swimmers had entry times under the 2 minutes, so we're certainly expecting at least maybe 2 or 3 of them to go under the 2 minutes here this evening. Looks like, have we got a bit of a delay? I'm not sure. Let's see. They'll certainly take a little while for the lights to come up. And they are being told to sit down and keep their kit on. So I think we do have a delay here. It's just a chance to think about what we've seen so far. It's been pretty hectic since the 1500, hasn't it? Being race after race. So far, what's been your highlight so far, would you say?
I think the 100 free, that was a good race. And then, like I said at the start, the skins, I was really looking forward to that. And I think, yeah, very unexpected. I would have probably been very certain that Louise Hansen was going to win those skins, but yeah, the young Belgian swimmer really came through.
Really did, yep, she certainly did. And well, you had a sense of it in the second round when she was right there with Louise Hansen, that, you know, she was up for it, number one, and number two, that she had the stamina for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess just not knowing her very well, I wasn't sure whether that was all she had in her, but clearly not. 3 solid splits.
Yep. So it looks like we've just got a problem there. I think maybe the block, is it, in lane 3? So we've got a bit of a wobbly block where we can't have that. So that's our Edinburgh Leisure pool staff doing their thing there to fix it. They do look after us really well here in Edinburgh. They're a great team of staff there. See that working with smiles on their faces as well. They always have smiles on their faces, the Edinburgh Leisure crew, and we are very grateful to everything that they do supporting this meet. And course, to everybody who trains in the Royal Commonwealth pool.
Yeah,
A good place
absolutely.
to as a training base.
Yeah, such a great facility. Was lucky to train here for a good 7 years, I think, maybe. But yeah, so great to have the 50 metre training. When I was back at Carnegie as an age group swimmer, we used to have to go through to Stirling once a week to get that long course training. So I really noticed a difference when I moved over to Edinburgh and was getting more consistent long course training.
We talked about that YouTube video a little bit earlier, and I do recommend that you have a look at that and get the thoughts from Tane that she has on that. But one of the things you were talking about is you actually joined that Edinburgh University team when you were still at school, in your last year at school, and that commute from Dunfermline to Edinburgh every day. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, that was a very tough year, I think, just so much travel. When I started it as well, I couldn't drive yet, so I was relying a lot on the trains, which was a bit of a nightmare. But then I passed my driving test and then was able to drive myself through, which did definitely make a difference.
You mean your parents didn't get up an ungodly hour in the morning to drive you through to Edinburgh? What sort of lack of loyalty to you was that from?
I know, I think they were very pleased when I finally passed my test. A bit more independence.
I can relate to that, my memories. So it looks like we're good to go now. The lights come up, the swimmers get themselves organised. So whatever the problem was, it's fixed. So we are ready to go. Reminder, this is the open final of the men's 200 backstroke. Gerchik, the fastest going into this final. Brodie Williams, the Commonwealth champion. Luke Greenbank, the record holder, Olympic bronze medalist. European Championship bronze medalist last season. So he goes in lane 3. David Gerchik, could he? I mean, I guess it was a bit of a surprise that he was the fastest qualified semi-finalist in the European Championships back last summer. But what can he do here? The Israelis, second year the Israelis have been here. Great to have them here. Quite a long trip from Israel to come here. But let's see what Gerchik can do up against the likes of Greenbank and Williams either side of him. We mentioned the youngster John Short from Limerick. He's in lane 2. He's off to a decent start. But it looks like lane 5, Brodie Williams will be just edging it at the early stages. He was a 28.0 in the heats, so slightly faster, 27.84, 2/10 up on Elliot Clogg. We've not talked about Elliot Clogg, but that's another very fine backstroke name. He's in lane 6 then in second place. But Williams looking nice and smooth there. As he comes down length 2. When you're looking at it from a distance like that, it sort of looks easy almost, but of course it's not. They're working them socks off here. 57.86 then for Williams. So he's now best part of a second faster than he was in the heats. Clogged second still. Gerchik third. Are we going to see Luke Greenbank come back strongly in lane 3? Is maybe just moving up into third place, maybe alongside Gerchik anyway. Still behind Williams and Clogg in lanes 5 and 6 as we come up to the 150. And it is still Brodie Williams who is the leader coming through. Can he finish the job? We've seen quite a few overtakings going on in this last length. Is that going to happen here? Gerchik's giving it a go in lane 4, but Brodie Williams is still holding the advantage here. Can he get the job done? He's coming under a bit more pressure now with 15 to go, but Williams still up by about a metre. Gerchik's continuing to close though. It's getting closer and closer as they come in, but Williams does enough to take it. 1:59.55 in the end. It's only 11 hundredths the gap between him and Gerchik, who was finishing so strongly there from lane 4, and Luke Greenbank takes third, just over the 2 minutes, 2:00.27 for him. But well, that didn't disappoint, did it, Tane?
No,
that was a great race.
Yeah, that was very exciting. It's also interesting to see Luke Greenbank was last at the first 50 turns and really just built up from there.
Yeah, I guess for Luke, this is very much just in a building process. He clearly needs to be a lot faster than that in April in Sheffield. And I'm sure he will be.
Yeah, for sure. How many weeks is it? Is it 5 weeks?
I think it's, yeah, I think
5
so.
weeks to go. Yeah.
So we now move to 200 breaststroke. And again, it's junior final first. The line-up made Rogers of Warrender in lane 1, Tegan Black of East Lothian in 2, Ailey Robertson of South Ayrshire in 3, Charlotte Hardy of Millfield in 4, Lucy Stoves of Dundee City Aquatics in 5, Amy McLeod, City of Glasgow in 6, Lucy Nimmo, also from City of Glasgow in 7, and Leah Bullock from East Kilbride in lane 8. And Charlotte Hardy is also a Scot, so all 8 swimmers in this junior final are Scots, which promises well for the future of female breaststroke swimming in Scotland.
Yeah, definitely continuing that tradition.
Charlotte Hardy certainly has been in terrific form in the last year or so. I think training out of Millfield, such a strong programme, has done her no end of good. Originally from South Ayrshire, and she's in the green cap, but it's lane 3, also South Ayrshire, Ailey Robertson. You know lots about Robertsons, I guess, with the 2 older sisters in Edinburgh.
Yeah, definitely. Youth Commonwealth Games with Erin back in 2015, and then laterally training with Katie at the University of Edinburgh. Very talented family.
But it is Charlotte Hardy has moved into the lead at the 50, 35-56, up by about 7 tenths. Lucy Stoves in second, Ailey Robertson in third.
Yeah, Ailey's really got that long stroke, just like her sisters as well.
She has a bit of a reputation for being strong in the second half, and you expect to see Ailey Robertson perhaps put in a charge down the last 50 in particular, but the question, I guess, will be, will Charlotte be too far ahead for her to be able to close it down? And certainly Charlotte Hardy is looking really good here. 1:15.81 at the halfway mark, so just over a 40-second split there, 40 and a quarter. And her lead now, 2.5, Lucy Stoves, who's had a good meet there in the pink cap of Dundee City Aquatics. So another very promising young breaststroker, Lucy, Youth Academy member. So she is just in second place, I think, but well, Charlotte Hardy really dominating this, and surely this one is going her way. Coming up to the 150, 156.95, 41 there. So we're looking at something around 237, 238, 242 in the heats. So the 16-year-old has another year as a junior, but she will be eyeing Euro Juniors, I would imagine. We'd hope to get in this year. Of course, the rules changing for the women on the Euro Juniors, going up to 18 this
really?
year. Yeah. So, in fact, she'd have 3 more, or 2 more opportunities after this year, but there you can see her.
Is that bringing it up to the same as the boys then, the same age?
Yeah. So the boys have gone down a year at the bottom end just to make it absolutely the same. But 2:38.47 then, pretty dominant performance from Charlotte there, 3.5 seconds faster than she was in the heats this morning. So really good performance from the Millfield swimmer. 2:34 her entry time, so not quite at that pace, but we'll see. Clearly, the April British Championships, also the selection event for European Juniors, and I'm sure she'll be giving that a go. B final now, Anna Finley for Deventio in lane 1, Anna Morgan of Edinburgh University in 2, Ophelia Nerdecker of Hovedstatens in 3, Olwen Cook, the Irish swimmer from Edinburgh University in 4, another Irish swimmer beside her, that's Neve Coyne. Then the Dutch swimmer Anna van Droffelaar in lane 6, Denise Elena Gogu of City of Manchester in 7, and Emma Doyle from Limerick National Centre in lane 8. So 3 Irish swimmers, one from Edinburgh, one from, I think, Neve. Not sure where she trains actually. I think it maybe is Dublin, but don't quote me on that. And Emma Doyle from Limerick.
I think it is Dublin as well. I'm not 100%, but I think the majority of their seniors are in Dublin now.
Actually, it looks like we're missing a couple of swimmers, in fact. Denise, Elena, and Emma Doyle not there in lanes 7 and 8. So down to 6 here. 2:34 to 2:40, the range of times from the 6 swimmers. And as we saw in the junior final, it is lane 4 just opening up lead, and that is Olwyn Cook, 20-year-old from Edinburgh University. Only 600s, it looked a little bit more than that, but she just has the lead. Great turn there in lane 2 from Anna Morgan, another from Edinburgh University.
Yeah, Anna looks like she's really stroking it out. Really good DPS down there.
200 probably her best event.
I'm not actually sure. Perhaps it is, but I think she would perhaps rather it was not, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense to me, yeah.
But yeah, she's looking great down there in lane 2.
But it is the 2 Irish girls, Niamh Coyne, Olwyn Cook, just a tenth apart, 1:13.40 at the halfway mark. Only 4 tenths faster than Charlotte Hardy's split at the halfway point. And it does look like it's going to be an Irish head-to-head here, Olwyn and Niamh.
Yeah, they're almost going stroke for stroke there in the middle.
Olwyn, I think, just getting the edge here down this 3rd length. So she was a tenth behind at the 100, but she's just got the advantage at the 150 by 4 tenths. See that, 39.4 against a 40.0. Anna Morgan putting in a good length there, 39.6 as well. She's not out of this in lane 2. Let's see if she can really push it on down this last length to challenge Edinburgh University training partner Olwyn Cook and the Irish swimmer Niamh Coyne. It's certainly between the 3 of them, with lane 6 Anna van Droffela in 4th place. So let's see as they come down the final length. It does look like Olwyn Cook has the advantage, maybe best nearly a metre up on Niamh Coyne, and Anna Morgan in a similar position to Niamh. It looks like Anna Morgan getting 2nd, just coming in ahead of Niamh Coyne, but Olwyn Cook really looked from the 2nd half onwards as she went down length 3 as the one who was going to take that one, and really pushing it out. 2:32.54, so over 2 seconds faster than she was in the heats. And 2:33.12 was the time she came into this meet, so she'll be pretty happy to take half a second off that.
Yeah, that was a good swim. Nice to see the Edinburgh girls getting the 1-2 as well.
Yeah, they'll be happy about that. Olwyn Cook has made a lot of progress actually in last year, hasn't she? Really come on well.
Yeah, definitely. She's training with Chris Jones now, and I think his style of training is really working well for her.
So here we are with our open final, the 200 breaststroke. Zinkato Del Camoon leading them out for Belgium. Then lane 2, Anki Giroms from TSZ. Lane 3, Ellie McCartney from Ireland. Lily Booker from Loughborough in 4. Oh, happy Lily. Abby Wood in lane 5, giving us the wave as she comes out, also from Loughborough, of course. Emma Carrasco-Cadence of Spain. So a nice happy smile there. Bright yellow there from the Belgium, Grace Palmer. Really picking up their lights here in the Commonwealth pool. And in lane 8, Repton swimmer Hannah Bowley. Great opportunity for the youngster, 18-year-old. In fact, we have 5 18-year-olds in this final, so quite a young final. The Abby Wood at 24, the old lady of the field.
I know.
Does it make you feel old sometimes, Tane?
Definitely, definitely. Considering I'm older than Abby.
So Lily Booker 2:29.05, Abby Wood 2:30.69. Abby in a fantastic 200 freestyle last night, battling right to the finish with Freya Anderson, just losing out on the touch. But can she take the win here, or will Lily Booker, her Loughborough colleague, take her? They did come into the meet with the fastest entry times, but it was Abby with the faster entry time than Lily. It was the other way around in the heat. What will happen in the final?
Yeah, this could be a good tussle in the middle between those two Loughborough girls.
Is there anyone else who can give them a run for their money, do you think?
I think these two girls have a lot of experience, so I think my money would be on them. But equally, I'm not familiar with the other athletes as much, so I couldn't really say.
I'm not allowed to hedge your bets, Tane.
So that's purely familiarity is my only.
So it is Lily Booker, the early leader. Anki Jeroms, who has had a terrific meet. He goes in lane 2. So what can she do? Anki Jeroms, the Belgian Tam Schelt, her team was coming in on a 2:33. Took that down to 2:32 in the heat. So can she continue to make some progression here? But well, as they come down the second length, you feel that it probably is with lane 4, Lily Booker and Abby Wood, who is, well, let's see, 9/10ths back at the halfway mark and half a second back on the pacing, and that's second 50. So she's going to have to put in a good stint in the second half if she's to get back on terms here. So 1:10.49 as the split for Lily.
Yeah, she looks like she's holding that lead pretty well.
She was the British Universities champion, did a 2:25 at Sheffield just 2 weeks ago. So that, I guess, will be her yardstick for this one. She is up by maybe 1.5 meters with 50 to go, 1:48.4. Again, she's increased the lead by another half second. Anki Jeroms 2 seconds back on Abby Wood. So well, we did think it was going to be the Loughborough 1-2. We thought maybe Abby Wood would be closer to Lily Booker than this, but it looks like very much Lily Booker's race. I don't think Abby Wood can do anything about this now as Lily Booker. So 2:29.05 in the heat, 2:25 at Bucks. What's she going to be here? I don't think she's going to match that 2:25, but she's going to be inside the 2:29 she did this morning. 2:27.01 to take the win. Abby Wood 2:28.86 in second place. Did make up a little bit of ground in that last 50. Rosy red cheeks after the hard work there.
Yeah, she looks happy enough with that. So
yeah, smile for the camera, always a good thing. And confirmation of the result there, Ellie McCartney taking third. So Jerom's just fading in the second half there, down to 6th place. So an Irish 3rd place behind the two Loughborough swimmers, Booker and Wood. So we're cracking our way through this one, and we go now to the men's 100 butterfly. Junior final, of course, comes up first. Matej Rosenfeld, Israel in lane 1. Beside him, his teammate Yahav Halag. Tom Robertson, Aberdeen Dolphin in 3. Evan Bailey of Limerick National Centre in 4. Daniel Dravchov, Israel in 5. Dean Fern of Aberdeen Dolphin in 6. Jacob Wibley of Rapton in 7. And Vincent Kay of Holbeck in Denmark in lane 8. So a strong Israeli entry in this one. Their team is mainly made up of juniors. They have brought a few seniors with them. They describe themselves as Israeli junior team, but not everyone a junior, but 3 of them in this. Up against 2 from Aberdeen Dolphin, so we'll see how they do, including Dean Fern, who is showing a lot of form. The youngster, just 15, breaking national age group records for fun at the moment.
yeah, I did see that. Was it the 50 fly the other week, I think?
Yeah, Scottish junior record holder now in the 50 fly, but it is Dean Fern off well in lane 6. So is he going to have the lead? It's really tight, actually. There's about 4 swimmers all coming in together, and in fact it's Bailey 26.08 taking the touch from Tom Robertson and Dean Fern. So the 2 from Aberdeen Dolphin 2nd and 3rd as they come through now. It looks like the centre lane. Bailey in 4, Dravchov in 5. Tom Robertson trying to go with them in lane 3. So 3 white caps in the seeded lanes, and in particular now Ewan Evan Bailey, the Limerick swimmer, coming through strongly in the second half, takes the win in 55.70. So good, strong swim there from him. A couple of tenths faster than he was in the heats. And in the end, quite a dominant. It didn't look as if it was going to be as open as that. Yeah, halfway it was very, very tight indeed. But in the end, Bailey won it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, really good finish there from Evan, and nice to see him back in the after 100 free earlier in the evening as well. It's quite a tough double, the two 100s.
So the B final is next up. Tom Bealey, University of Aberdeen in 1, then 2 Spaniards, Arbadell Gonzalez Alvarez in 2, and Miguel Martinez Novoa in 3. Then we have from Hovedstaten's Casper Pugard in lane 4, Nikita Baez of Liga Verne in 5, Salvador Gordo from Stirling University in 6, Gregor Swinney, Edinburgh University in lane 7, and Ben Carl, also from Edinburgh University, in lane 8. 54s and 55s, the heat times in this one. Casper Pugard, another junior, 18-year-old from Hovedstatens in Denmark, has the fastest 54.59, just a tenth faster than Nikita Baez in the heats. So he's in the blue cap in lane 4. Nikita beside him in the black cap. And those two out well in the centre lanes. And maybe Nikita just edging it as they come up towards the wall. Also going really well in lane 8, Ben Carr from Edinburgh University. He is right there with the leaders, but it is lane 4. I thought it was going to be 5. Pugard takes the touch, 25.01 by 500ths from Byers. Lane 3, getting a great turn there, Miguel Martinez Novoa, and he is right in the mix now. So it looks like it's between these three. Ben Carr doing his best to stay in the mix in lane 8. Others not far away, including Salvador Gordo in lane 6, but I think it's going to be lane 4 taking the win. It is Casper Pugard, 54.40. So strong swim there, and that makes him the fastest junior in this event. Hovedstaten swimmer taking it in the end just by 800s. It looked clearer than that to me, but anyway, that's what looks electronics saying. Miguel Martinez Novoa taking second, and Nikita Baez in third place. And the lights go down for the open final. This will be another good one, I would think, as they get ready.
Big names in this one as well.
So Liga Verne swimmer in lane 1 will be first out. And that is Killian Peck. Nice little shy smile there. Lane 2, Jamie Ingram, City of Manchester Aquatics, Mr. Cool. Lane 3, Ed Mildred from the University of Bath. In lane 4, from Austria, Simon Buscher. In lane 5, the experienced University of Bath band, James Guy. In lane 6, also University of Bath, Jacob Peters. I don't think that bid will be there in a month's time. Brian Long goes in lane 7 from Chelsea and Westminster. And Joe Litchfield, Loughborough University, in lane 8. 51.43, Simon Buscher, winner in the 50. Skins, James Guy, 52.92.
Yeah, really big lead from the heats this morning. So be interesting to see if it's any closer tonight.
Buscher, world and European finalist for Austria. Guy, silver medalist in the Commonwealth Games for England, winner here last year. Peters, Commonwealth Games, he was 6th. You think those would be the 3. Mildred, though, maybe as well. What can he do? In lane 3. But watch out maybe for the Austrian. That's a great shot, isn't it? You see that massive roof that we have here in the Royal Commonwealth ball to full effect. So it's Pesh, Ingram, Mildred, Busher, Guy, Peters, Long, and Litchfield. Good starts, really explosive off the blocks and getting into their stroke. It does look like Busher in lane 4 and Peters in lane 6 off to the strongest starts. And I think it's going to be the Austrian leading at halfway. He's up by what, maybe a half a metre or so, 24.15. So this is pretty fast here, although not quite as fast as earlier. He set a meet record, in fact, in the heats here, 51.43, taking James Guy's meet record. Can he improve on it here? Surely he's got this one in the bag now. It's all about who's going to get second. James Guy in lane 5, Peters in 6, Mildred in 3. But this is Simon Busher's race. He comes in 51.20, and that is a new meet record. So 2 meet records in the same event, in the same day, and he's happy with that. 51.20, right on the time he did at the World Championships, 51.18. So just 200s away from his rested time last season.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
So 2 records for the price of 1 there, and a massive victory there against some really quality opposition. James Guy takes second, Jacob Peters second, 52.69, 52.81. But take a bow, Simon Busher of Austria. You are a worthy winner there. I think that's probably, for me, the race of the day so far.
Yeah, definitely. He made it look so easy as well. Just almost like he was skimming along the top of the water.
So on to 100 freestyle now for the women. Junior final, ready to go. Catherine Renfrew of Perth City in 1. Nicole Dupre, Millfield in 2. Maria Romovskaya of Repton in 3. Shian Gulland of Israel in 4, Laurie Devine, Repton in 5, Angelina Roman of Netherlands in 6, Mary Mischenko of University of Aberdeen in 7, and Michelin Stockblow of Hovedstatens in lane 8. Mary Mischenko is a great story, Ukrainian, forced to flee, of course. Last year has found a home in Aberdeen and now a core part of the University of Aberdeen programme. It's great to have her there and competing here today. So she is in lane 7, second from the top of your screen, right in the mix there. And it looks like Laurie Devine of Repton. What a night Repton are having for the juniors in particular. And it is, I think, going to be Laurie just turning first. Swimmers either side of her, Shian Gulland in 4, Angelina Roman in 6, all pretty close. In fact, Shian Gulland showing there by 100th with the touch there, but it does look to me like Devine has the edge, although Gulland now right there with her in lane 4. I think it's between these two, the white cap Gulland and the black cap Devine. Repton against Israel. It still looks like the Repton swimmer has the edge. Laurie Devine in lane 5, but here comes Gulland in the closing stages. Whoa! She takes it. 56.72 in the final 5 meters. You thought that Devine had it, and then suddenly she found another gear.
Looks like she's got longer levers. So.
That's what it's all about, is it? Length of the arms.
Something that I was unfortunately not blessed with.
So, what a finish that was from Shian Gulland. This is a surprise. Freya Colbert not in the open final, but she's here in the 100 freestyle, which is very short distance for her. Going in lane 1 in the B final for Loughborough with teammate Isabella Hindley in lane 2. Sam van Noonen of the Netherlands in 3. Evie Davis, Stirling University in 4. Victoria Catterson of Ireland in 5. Jana Spinner, University of Bath in 6. Bruce van Otterdijk after that skins win goes in lane 7. And Jemima Hall, University of Bath in lane 8.
Yeah, this one looks incredibly close, 56.42 to 56.59. So I think this is anyone's race, really.
So a number of these swimmers have had swims already. I'm thinking Van Otterdijk in the skins. Freya Colbert has had a long race already.
I think Jemima Hall was in the 200 back potentially as well earlier.
Evie Davis on paper just the fastest, 56.42, the Stirling swimmer in her first year at Stirling from Bromley in the southeast of England. But Scott was part of the Commonwealth Games team. Good start from Isabella Hindley in lane 2, and Roos van Otterdijk showing no after effects from their skins, starting strongly in lane 7. Sam van Noonen not far away in lane 3. Those three all close. Hindley just getting the touch. Van Noonen second, Van Otterdijk third, Colbert in fourth, 26.80. The split there in lane 2, and Hindley out of the turn well, but starting now to try and track her down is Sam van Noonen in lane 3. Others pretty close, as you said, Tane. There was nothing in it between them in the heat swims. Lane 8 now is Jemima Hall, and she's coming through. Is it going to be a lane 8 win? No, it's a lane 1 win. Freya Colbert, why should I be surprised at that? Freya Colbert taking a win. Oh, don't often see the lane 1 first, lane 8 second. So Colbert, Hall and Evie Davis taking, a tie for third in fact, with Victoria Catterson, 56.46 for both of them. But Freya Colbert, 55.87, another excellent swim from Freya. Just every time at the moment that she takes to the water, it's a really strong performance. So now the open final, this will be a good one. We wait for them to make their presence. 8 swimmers with their times 54.8 to 55.8. First out, Lucy Hope of University of Stirling into lane 1, the experienced swimmer from Scotland. Kim Bush of the Netherlands in lane 2. Valentine Dermont of Belgium in lane 3. Katie Duluth, the American based in Loughborough, in 4. It's the British champion Anna Hopkin of Loughborough University in lane 5. Senior Bro of Denmark next out in lane 6. Lane 7, University of Bath's Freya Anderson. Lane 8, Cornelia Fiedlewitz of Loughborough University. Well, again, there is some real talent here. The American Katie Duluth was a winner at British Universities in her first season at Loughborough. Anna Hopkin, as I said, the British champion, 4th in the Commonwealth Games for England. She goes in lane 5. Lucy Hope has had a good meet, just missed the finals in both the Europeans and the Commonwealths for Scotland, of course, Europeans for GB, being a huge part of female relay teams over the last couple of years. Medals for Britain as part of the 4x2 and 4x1s, particularly in the Europeans, where they absolutely smashed everything. Oh, here they go then. So Duluth 54.85, Hopkin 54.92 in the heats, and a good start from Anna Hopkin there in lane 5. So that straight arm stroke, was that something you did in the 100 free?
No, not really. I think sometimes towards the end of the race, but I don't think I could sustain it for the entirety of the race.
Is it more tiring?
I'm not sure. I just don't think I was as efficient. It's quite interesting that Katie Duluth has one straight arm and one bent arm. I've never really seen that technique.
Let's see how it goes then. Hopkins certainly first through the turn, but Duluth is coming back at her now in the second half. But I think Hopkin has got enough in place. A late push from Senior Pro as well in lane 6, but it's the pink cap, Anna Hopkin, taking the win, 54.10. And well, taking it in, 54.10 as the win. Second place, Katie Duluth, 54.47, and third, Senior Bro, and that is confirmed now, 54.51. Just took a little while for the confirmed result to come out. I was just wondering maybe whether there was going to be some issue, but no. And all okay. Lucy Hobart, very good fourth from her, 55.16 from her. Over half a second inside her entry time, and pretty close to the best time she was entered on. So I think Lucy had some good swims this time. Former colleague of yours at Edinburgh, now moved to Stirling.
Yeah, I think after the Olympic cycle, I think she fancied a bit of a change, and after graduating and stuff. So yeah, good to see her swimming well.
So next up we have the 400 freestyle for the men. Junior finalists Nathan Campbell, Stirling swimming in 1, Elliot Sibley of Nova Centurion in 2, Scott Fleming of East Kilbride in 3, Alex Harrand of Daventio in 4, Dennis O'Brien of Limerick National Centre in 5, Brodie Gordon-Gibson of Warrender in 6, Calvin Neese of Holbeck in 7, and James Burnett from Warrender in lane 8. So 8 lengths of the pool for this one. So 400 freestyle, quite a different event from the 100 that we've just seen.
Definitely.
How would you think these swimmers will be planning this one?
I think the 400 free is probably one of the hardest events because it's not a sprint, but you still need to be quite on it. Again, not one that I contested very often, so personal experience is lacking, but yeah, I think it's always interesting to see the different tactics of people in the 400s.
And we've certainly had some great 400 freestyle swimmers in Scotland over the years. I think Caitlin McClatchy, perhaps in particular, is really strong at this event, and the women. Of course, Stephen Milne from the men is really good at 400 freestyle. 58.76, then Brodie Gordon-Gibson leads the way. He's off to a good start in lane 6, and then Alex Harrand in lane 4, perhaps just about up with him now. In lanes 3 and 5, Scott Fleming, Dennis O'Brien.
Yeah.
About Stephen Milne, he actually holds the meet record for this event, so we'll see whether anyone can get close to the 3:48 that he's got for the meet record. I think that could last for a while.
Yeah, that is pretty swift for in-season meet for sure.
So Harron now just gone past Gordon-Gibson, and he is going to come through to halfway with a lead of about 2 meters. Through he goes to 01. You see pacing there 30.6, nobody else in the 30s. Gordon-Gibson 31.7, and then everyone else in the 32s with the exception of James Burnett back in 6th place, who's trying to show some speed now. It's looking pretty good now for Alex Harrand. Lead about 4 meters now. Another 30.7. See that quite a bit faster than anybody else now. 31s and 32s, mainly 32s behind them. So 3 seconds plus ahead of the field, with lane 6 Brodie Gordon-Gibson still just about hanging on to 2nd place. 18-year-old from Warrender. But it is Harrand, the Daventio swimmer, 4:08 for him in the heats.
Yeah, this is looking to be considerably faster if you can stick to this pace.
3:03, so pacing around about 62s. So another of those 4:05, and well, maybe you can get a bit closer to the 4 minutes than that. Still Gordon-Gibson hanging on to 2nd place, but coming under pressure now from Dennis O'Brien of Limerick, and lane 2 not far away, Elliot Sibley of Nova Centurion. Those three all in the contest for second, but they're all in the wake of Harron. A 32.0 there, perhaps just losing a little bit of pace in the last stage. The other three starting to wind it up now, all around the 32 mark. But no doubt who's going to take this. Alex Harron really pretty dominant other than the first 50, and he is going to bring this in. The question is, how fast can he go ahead of the 4:08 that he did earlier on? He's going to be inside that 4:06.31, maybe just losing a little bit of pace in that last 100, but an emphatic win. Well done to Brodie Gordon-Gibson there, holding on to second. He had to work hard for that, and he did so in 4:10.24, and that is faster by a couple of seconds than he was in the heats. With third place, Dennis O'Brien of Limerick, 4:10.40. So Harron there obviously put in the heavy work in that second, maybe and third hundreds. Perhaps just struggling a little bit in that last one, but the work was done. He got the win.
Yeah, definitely. I guess something to play about with in these final meets before the trials next month. So hopefully he can take something away from that for the next one.
B finalists up on your screen. Cameron Travis, University of Aberdeen, goes in lane 1. 2 is Arthur Logan of Edinburgh University. 3, Tony Joe Trent Oliver of Stirling University. Alexander Sargent, who's had some really good distance swims this week, goes for Millfield in 4. Finn McGeever of Limerick in 5. Nathan Whiffen of Loughborough University in 6. Yannick Weiland of Netherlands in 7. And Daniel Baruch from Israel in lane 8. Sargent with the fastest heat time 4:00, so he'll be looking to get under the 4 minutes. I'm sure others will as well. He comes into this meet on a 3:59, so could well improve on that here. So he's in lane 4. McGeever starting well in 5. Logan starting well in 2. Beside him, Cameron Travis, the Aberdonian, in lane 1. Oh, pretty close early on here. Logan, I think, yes, 27.50. Touching first. Almost the first 50 of the 400. I always feel there's a bit of a settling down period. You know, you want to get a good start clearly, and then you've got to find your pace, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be out too fast. It's almost like that easy speed, isn't it, that you need to find. But yeah, Arthur Logan, he looks very relaxed. Almost no legs at all, just all upper body.
Whiffen, 57.49. So he is, along with his brother, making huge strides forward in the Loughborough programme. And he will be taking this one out strong.
Yeah, interesting. He was the only sub 30 split there. When I swam the Tundra Free very few times last season, but my coach Matt, he used to say it's about not having too big a drop off between your first 50 and your second 50. So I'm sure something similar applies here, and it looks like that's really worked for Nathan.
So Alexander Sargent in lane 4, Finn McGeever in lane 5. They're still very much with Nathan Whiffen. So good Irish presence here with the Limerick man and Nathan Whiffen swimming for Loughborough, but very much an Irishman, Northern Ireland in particular. 1:58.61. So the lead under a second, so they could have a go at Nathan here. Now you think Finn McGeever just pushing on.
Yeah, breathing into each other as well, so I'm sure they're both aware of each other.
So McGeever was second in the McCullough meet a couple of weeks ago, with Whiffen third. So he beat him there, and he has moved past him now. So maybe Nathan Whiffen just went out a bit over enthusiastically. Sargent also maybe just edging past him in lane 4. So Finn McGeever is the one now taking it on, the 23-year-old from Limerick. And he is looking good for this one now. He's up by a body length from Alexander Sargent, 2:59.54. So he'll be hoping to keep that split under 30 to go under the 4 minutes. Sargent, 3:00.84, so a strong finish could get him under 4 as well. It looks like these two now, with Nathan Whiffen perhaps just paying for going out rather fast, but comfortably in third, which I guess is one ahead of where he was seeded in this heat, or this B final I should say. So 30 more or less on the dot there for Finn McGeever, so surely he will be under the 4 minutes, but Sargent is giving it a go here down this last length, and he's definitely catching Finn McGeever here. There's about a metre. Look at that, aggressive right beside the lane rope here as he closes in into the final 5 metres. It's going to be on the touch, and it just goes to Sargent by 100. I thought Finn McGeever was just going to hang on there, but no. Alexander Sargent must have grown his fingernails there to take that one. 3:58.47. Look at that final 50, 27.57. What a, well, didn't see that coming at all.
Huge finish there. Yeah, I thought that McGeever had it as well.
Brilliant stuff then. 3:58.47, so two of them under the 4 minutes. 3:58.48 Finn McGeever. 4:02.31 Nathan in third. We'll be seeing his brother shortly, looking for the treble, having won the 8 and the 15. He's not going to be in a centre lane though, so he'll have his work cut out here. But here they come, the open finalists in lane 1 from Limerick, the Canadian Jeremy Bagshaw. In lane 2 it is Daniel Whiffen from Ireland. In lane 3 from Israel, you have Romano. In lane 4, the Austrian based at Loughborough University, Felix Oback. In lane 5 from the University of Bath, it's Luke Turley. Lane 6, also University of Bath swimmer Kieran Bird. From Loughborough, it's Charlie Hutchison in lane 7. Looks like he's wearing his Scottish kit, is he? And lane 8, Toby Robinson, Loughborough University. So 3 from Loughborough, 4 if you count Daniel Whiffen, representing Ireland this weekend. Another Irishman, Jeremy Bagshaw, Israeli, you have Romano, and the 2 Bath men, Luke Turley and Kieran Bird. Oback, hugely experienced, 4th in the World Championships, 4th in the European Championships. Whiffen, the man in form, winner in the 8 and the 15, 4th in this event in the Commonwealth Games, having medalled in the 1500. Of course, no 800 for the men in the Commonwealth Games. Romano, very good heat swim from him. The Irishman, the Israeli. So away they go. So can Daniel Whiffen complete the 4, 8 and 15 treble? Will Oback take the win here? Can somebody else beat both of them? It is Oback and Whiffen, just 200s apart. Kieran Bird's right there with them as well. So the 3 of them, just 300s separating them. Whiffen down towards the bottom of your screen there in the black cap, lane 2. So he has taken this out very strongly. Quite different from him from what he has to do in the 8 and the 15, I imagine. He's got to pick up that speed up from what he would pace at in the longer events.
Yeah, this must almost seemed like a sprint to him. But yeah, interesting to see how the leaders are coming from all over the pool. It could pan out to be quite an interesting race.
Certainly is making his intentions pretty clear here, attacking this aggressively. So Obeck breathing in his direction, so we'll know exactly where Daniel Whiffen is. The answer is he's about half a second in front of him. 1:24.10 at the 150. Not too much difference in their pacing, 29.0 and 29.1, and then it's tight. Bird and Turley, the two Bath swimmers, contesting third. So we've got training partners at the front there, Obeck and Whiffen, and training partners battling for third, Turley and Bird. So they'll both know everything about their other person. And it's tightening up now. Just 3/10 between them at the halfway mark. 153.6, 153.9.
Yeah, Felix is looking pretty strong now. He looks like he's definitely stepped up a gear since that turn.
Romano is in the mix still for the third spot contest, but surely this is a Whiffen versus Obeck contest for the win, and there's very little to choose now at the 250 between them. Whiffen still has the edge, but now it's less than a tenth. But, well, Whiffen continuing to push it hard here. And you see them coming down alongside our deck side camera. And coming up to the wall, and they're turning together, 100 to go. Obeck in the lead for the first time by 13 hundredths, 252.37 against 252.50 for Daniel Whiffen. Look at these two go, stroke for stroke, down the penultimate length. Third place in lane 5, Luke Turley, just opening up a bit of a gap on the others around about him. But Obeck maybe just starting to open up the gap now, going into the final turn, and he's got a lead of half a second to take into the final length then. Is there one last push from Daniel Whiffen? He's certainly not going to give it up just yet. They're going down the final length, but Obeck, the Austrian, I think has this one. He is about 1.5 meters clear now as we come down towards the finish. It's going to be Felix Obeck taking the win in this one after a great battle with Daniel Whiffen. And it is a win in 3:49.12, just half a second away from Stephen Milne's meet record. So really quality swim there from Felix Obeck.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I don't think I was expecting a sub 350 swim there. So yeah, great job from Felix.
Yep, so showing the class that we know he has. Daniel Whiffen, 350.81. I think he has to be pretty pleased with that. 352.65. That Bath battle all the way there. Just going to third place, Luke Turley, then over Kieran Bird. Great racing. I can't deciding which my favourite race of the night is. It's just the last one I've seen, I think.
Too many exciting ones.
Yep. But we've only got one set of races left now in this meet, and it is the women's 200 individual medley. So same sequence, juniors, B final, and our very last open final of the weekend. So the lineup for the junior final: Sophie Davies of Millfield in lane 1, Eleanor Broughton of Repton in 2, Nicolene Stockbrough, Hovedstatens in 3, Holly Marshall of Repton in 4, Susie McNair of Sterling Swimming in 5, Charlotte Room de Ventio in 6, Parker Tind of Hovedstatens in 7, and Coco Croxford, another Sterling Swimming swimmer, going in lane 8. So away they go. Strong start down at the bottom of your pool there, the Millfield swimmer Sophie Davies, and up at the top Coco Croxford, no Sterling Swimming. But of course in medley You'll see things moving around a bit as we go from stroke to stroke, particularly, I guess, with the juniors, because I guess a top quality senior individual medley has to be strong on all 4 strokes. You can't have a weakness.
Yeah, for sure. I think as a junior you can almost get away with having a stroke that's not as strong, but ultimately if you're going to pursue medley swimming, I think you need to have 4 solid strokes.
So let's see how this one progresses. Holly Marshall, Repton have had a great night, and she is looking to finish with a bang for them. We come up to halfway. She's got a lead of about 1.5 meters, 1:06.01. Going into the breaststroke. Charlotte Room, 9/10 behind her. The Ventier swimmer, and Falcatin in 3rd place.
That's where the breaststrokers come through now.
Holly Marshall's looking pretty strong on breaststroke as well, so not showing any signs really of being caught. Charlotte Room with now on her shoulder Susie McNair in the white cap. They're in lane 5, but they are a fair way behind Holly Marshall as she comes up to the 150. 1:48.46 for her as she goes to the freestyle. You would think she's got this in the bag now. McNair 2nd, Room in 3rd, Broughton in 4th as we come down the final length. And you see there the size of Holly Marshall's lead. She has this one nicely worked out. 2:22.94 was her time earlier on, but she has gone up as fast as 2:21 her entry time, so much closer to that. 2:22.76 to take the win. So, good strong swim there, and a good finish from Susie McNair there. She was coming up very fast at the freestyle at the end there, and comfortably 2nd in the end, ahead of Charlotte Room, who was 2nd for a long time. She takes 3rd, 2:25.51. 2 more races to go then. The final next up. And there's the lineup. Ailsa MacDonald of Edinburgh University in lane 1. Another Repton swimmer, Holly Robinson in lane 2. From Spain, it's Laura Cabanez Garças in lane 3. The Belgian Zinca del Común in lane 4. From Spain, Alba Vasquez Ruiz is in lane 5. Then 2 Dutch swimmers, Elise Tannis in 6 and Anna van Droffelaar in 7. And Megan Byrne from the University of Bath completes the field in lane 8. So up onto the blocks for second last race of this meet. Zinca del Común, fastest into the speed final, 2:18.94. The other swimmers on 2:21s and 2:22s. So that's quite an advantage to take into a final. She'll be confident, you would think, and I'm sure she'll feel that she can take it a bit faster here. 2:16 she came into the meet on, so let's see if she can get anywhere close to that. Good start in lane 6 though. That is Elise Tannis, but it is lane 3 in fact getting the touch at the 50. Laura Cabanez Garças, 29.69. 1500ths ahead of Tannis. Del Común in 3rd. And also up there, Alba Vasquez Ruiz in lane 5. So fairly close at the moment. As we come down towards the end of the backstroke. And it does look like still it's Cabanez Garças and Tannis 1st and 2nd. Laura Cabanez Garças 1:05.21. So let's see whether breaststroke changes things. So still lane 3. Laura Cabanez Garças not wanting to give this up, but starting now to move up is Zinca del Común. As we said, the fastest into this B final. Beside her, Alba Vasquez Ruiz. So this is going to be pretty close, you would think.
Yeah, it's not really as clear cut as what it suggested on paper. Should be a good last 50.
145.26 against 145.46. Cabanas Garzas trying to hold on, but that turn from breaststroke to freestyle certainly worked in Del Camun's favour. And she's just edging it, I think, now, but it's a three-way contest down this final length. Vasquez Ruiz in 5, Del Camun in 4, Cabanas Garzas, the long-time leader, in 3. And look at Alba Vasquez Ruiz go in lane 5. I think she might get this one. It's a three-way battle into the wall, but Alba Vasquez Ruiz in 2:17.70 takes the win. She was, 3.5 seconds faster than she was in the heats. So really good last 50 freestyle from her. Take the win. Cabanas Garzas led for a lot of that, but has to settle for second place behind her Spanish colleague, with Del Camun, the Belgian, taking third. One more race to go, Tane.
I know. I feel like this is an exciting one to finish on. Ellen Walsh or Abby Wood, I'm not sure. They've both been on good form this weekend, so it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
So here they come out to the deck. Cornelia Pama, first out, representing Austria. Emma Carrasco-Cadens from Spain in lane 2. Lane 3 also from Spain, Paula Jus Sanchez, looking serious. Lane 4, Ireland's Ellen Walsh, looking cheerful. Lane 5, Loughborough University's Abby Woods. In lane 6, from Stirling University, Katie Shanahan. First time seen her tonight. Lane 7, Netherlands' Silke Hulkenberg. And in lane 8, from City of Sheffield, Candice Hall.
Yeah, Katie Shanahan, she's also one not to be ruled out in this 200 IM. I think she got a PB in at Bucks other week in this, maybe? Or was it, maybe it was the 200 backstroke, actually.
Well, she was very strong in this one, 2:11.6. She won the Bucks in this one.
Yeah.
I think probably, well, if not a PB, very close to it.
Yeah, but either way, been on good form lately for sure, which is good to see after her transition from Glasgow to the Stirling team.
Abby Wood, of course, has had that 200 breaststroke earlier, so will that be a factor in this?
I know that is a tough double, but I'm sure she'll put in a good effort either way.
So all set for a good one. Ellen Walsh has been on fire this weekend, did a 2:12 at the McCullough meet, winning that comfortably. So what can she do? She was the fastest qualifier, 2:14.62. So we're going to end with a cracker here. Great start from Cornelia Pama, the Austrian, in lane 1. Very quick off the blocks, but now as they settle into their stroke, it's Paula Jus Sanchez in 3, Ellen Walsh in 4. And there, they're front 2, lane 8 up there, Candice Hall. It's Jus Sanchez, 28.28 after the butterfly. Ellen Walsh right there with her. And Abby Wood, who will be strong on breaststroke, in 5. Shanahan beside her, just ahead of her in lane 6. Candice Hall still going well in lane 8. But at the moment, it looks like Jus Sanchez in 3 and Walsh in 4. Let's see, oh, well, maybe Candice Hall actually is right there, and so is Katie Shanahan. So it is Shanahan with the lead at the halfway mark. Of course, an excellent backstroker. Katie Shanahan used that to good effect there. Katie Shanahan has a great record, of course, in the 200 IM. We mentioned that win in the British Universities and 4th in the European Championships last year. And she is edging it, it looks like, from Ellen Walsh in lane 4 and Paula Jus Sanchez in lane 3. Candice Hall still there in lane 8. So she's still a contender, but it is Shanahan. Are we going to end with a Scottish victory? 1:41.02. Shanahan leads them down the final length by 0.4 of a second from Walsh, but Walsh there is working hard down this last length in lane 4. She's by no means out of this one. Shanahan in 6th there in the black cap towards the top of your screen. Behind them, Paula Jus Sanchez in lane 3. They're the top 3, but it looks like it is going to be Katie Shanahan. She is up by more than a metre as she comes into the wall and takes the win in the last race of these championships. 2:12.12 for her. I think she'll be pretty happy with that. It's that 2:11.6 she did in Bucks, so within half a second of that. Well,
yeah, that was a great race to end the meet. She really capitalised on that backstroke leg and then just held that lead all the way through to the finish.
Yes, looking at the facial expressions there, I think that was, that was hard.
I'm sure she'll be looking forward to some rest into trials next month.
So can you believe it? We are done. That seemed to fly through this evening. A last final victory. Katie Shanahan there from LM Walsh in 2nd place, and Paula Jus Sanchez in 3rd. There as we see that lineup of international flags. Just remains for me to say a huge thank you to all of the teams that came to Edinburgh this weekend. A huge thank you to you, Tame, for joining me this evening in the commentary box. Big thanks to everybody who made this event possible. But we are done. Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2023 is over. We'll look forward to seeing you back in a year's time here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool. But for now, it's been fantastic, and I hope you've enjoyed the coverage. But we'll wish you from Edinburgh a very good evening.